Video update. Today is May 6th, 2024. Let's take a look in the big dumpster. And you can see a whole bunch of those black stacks on steel drawers. Because we emptied out one entire side of the stacks on steel upstairs from my office. We finished that Friday. Today's Monday. So today, Craig decided it was a good idea to go ahead and tear down the empty side, despite the fact that it is horribly humid in this building as it is outside. And it is just a sweat box, man. So let's go upstairs and take a look. This is really weird looking, guys who are familiar. Look at that. Only one side to this row. And these things, they have screws through the side. Here's one that's still there. So that's what holds them together. So they had to unscrew a lot of these things. But they're so brittle, you can also just tear them apart. So what happened was, oh, and plus, I emptied out all these by myself about a month ago. So now we're all working on it. There are still roughly 45 columns of 7 each. So that comes out to, I don't know, 21, 22, or 23 pallets. We shall see. This is a table that we moved up here when we were working up here. It's really too hot to be doing anything up here. Craig was crazy to do that today. We were all just dying of sweat. Anyway, what happened was Craig and Wilson were up here destroying this and throwing it over down here to the floor. And I was hauling them to the dumpster and throwing them in. And the wind was blowing so hard that when I'd throw some of those boxes, they'd go like a knuckleball or a curveball and they'd fly off and end up in the parking lot. And I ended up with quite a big lump of boxes in the center because they weren't tearing them all, the boxes all into singular pieces. They would throw down like quads and triples and doubles where they're still screwed together. And I would take them down there and try to throw those things over the big buildup in the middle to the end of the dumpster. And with the wind just howling at me, most of them didn't make it. The singles I could get almost to the far end of the dumpster. But anyway, that's a big deal right there. Not looking forward to doing the rest of those. What we'll probably do is break them down as we go, like maybe clear out a few columns and break them down, because it was hours of torture doing that today. And it's hotter and worse up here than it is downstairs. But I probably bent over and stood up 200 times. It was 210 drawers, and it filled the dumpster. Wilson jumped into the dumpster. I don't know if he jumped. He got into the dumpster and crushed them all down, stompy stomp. And then Craig finished up here and stompy stomped a bunch of the ones that were still waiting to be hauled off. But I had hauled most of them to the dumpster by then. And we were all just, well, I don't know about Wilson. He seems to be indestructible. But Craig and I were just done. And I'm afraid it's going to be a double Tylenol bedtime for me. So we are getting very close to getting all this stuff cleared out. We still don't have a final disposition on all these files. You can see we're working on the 30th pallet right now. We've switched over to the smaller boxes, which is good for me because those long ones are so heavy. And we're working on them back in packaging. Actually, we take drawers down to packaging and we turn them into boxes. Then we throw the drawers away. That stuff there in the middle of the floor, that's going to be shredded. and Craig's having the shred guy come out because we're down to like a dozen of those white boxes left, and hopefully they'll come shred, and then we'll have more boxes. Yay! So we can continue to do torturous physical labor. It's really beating me down. Craig seems to enjoy beating himself down because, like, he does stuff like goes home and mows the yard, and I'm like, man, I go home and drink White Claw. I can't do this like you do. But yeah, getting close to total unemployment, I guess. Oh well, we knew it would happen. There's your update.